in this Nancy Guthrie abduction, missing case, burglary gone wrong, whatever the case may be, how important or how useful would polygraphs be in clearing, say, the Guthrie family? There was a lot of talk about her son-in-law and her daughter being a little shady or whatever the case may be. I'm talking about people, not the investigator saying that. How much is this used by the FBI? And just give the audience a little overview of what would happen if in fact they decided, and who makes the decision to utilize polygraphs.
With this case is very strange. Right from the get-go, things were done a certain way that kind of confuses me. Working with Ed's wife in the major case squad in NYPD, we were the unit that handled kidnappings throughout New York City. Things were done in this case that I just don't get. Doesn't seem normal to me. Again, they may have a different protocol, different procedures for that police department compared to what NYPD had. There should have been a temporary headquarters set up. There should have been somebody posted inside of the residence. Again, This is what NYPD does. Obviously, it's not what they do in Arizona. Polygraph is such a great tool. This is a perfect case where polygraph can be used to weed out suspects and make a determination as to whether or not they're a target of the investigation. Do I have any personal knowledge that they conducted polygraphs in this case? I do not. I would suspect that they probably did. And I say that because it's very hard for me to understand how they can make an announcement to officially clear the family without conducting polygraphs. If they did the polygraph, first of all, I don't think they would do it on everyone. Savannah,
she was in New York.
Would not have done one on her.
She was in New York. She was in New York. Oh.
So, well, they could still, the FBI could have still done it here in New York, but I don't think they would have done one on her. But, if they suspected, I believe the son-in-law, I could see them doing one on him to clear him. And they would, they would have full confidence in the polygraph that he's either involved or not involved. And they would definitely use it to clear him. It's done routinely. It really is. So polygraph is voluntary. Nobody could ever force you to take a polygraph.
Correct.
Any one of these family members, they would ask them, hey, you want to clear your name? Let's take a polygraph. And, if they've got nothing to hide and they are really sincere about, trying to help in every way in finding this woman, right? They would voluntarily take the polygraph.
Right.
It would definitely, if they had something to do with this, it's just such a great tool. I've seen cases, Ron, where you have a suspect. What they do is you do a test on this individual, right? You conduct a polygraph, and you could literally ask on the test, is Nancy in the Phoenix area? Is Nancy in the Tucson area? Is Nancy in Texas? Is Nancy in the state of Phoenix? And reactions, you could actually track down where they put her.
Right. You're an expert. You do polygraphs on a regular basis. Are polygraphs admissible in court? Can you talk about that?
I can. So what's funny is I do a lot of polygraphs, Ron. So I did 2 last night. I actually have 4 scheduled for tomorrow. One is a criminal defense case where an individual is accused of committing a heinous crime. The others are sex offenders who are convicted sex offenders, and they're part of a treatment program where they're mandated by a judge that they have to take a polygraph either every 3 months or every 6 months. And they're part of this program that while they're on probation, so this is after they've finished their prison sentence, and now they're on probation, which is supervised release, they have to partake and participate in a treatment program and take a polygraph. So is polygraph admissible in court? The standard answer you will always get from me is no, it's not. But it has been admitted in court. It's really up to the judge. There have been cases where a judge has allowed polygraph in federal court in certain states. It's not something that every judge is going to allow.
So my next question to lead you, and I know the answer to it already, why are polygraphs used, Tim?
It's a great tool. Okay, it does help. I had a case where a judge actually requested I conduct a polygraph on somebody who was in federal prison pre-sentencing, because the judge wanted to understand why this individual continued his behavior in order for him to properly sentence the individual. This was a case where the guy failed to register as a sex offender. So he committed a crime, he was arrested, he went to prison, completed his prison sentence. He full termed out of his prison sentence. Once he finished that, now he's on probation. Part of probation, federal government requires that a sex offender has to register with the state and make sure that the state and local municipalities have local law enforcement has the address and they know where this individual is. This particular individual refused to register. He just would not register. So he gets arrested. He gets rearrested for failing to register. He gets 5 years in prison. The judge puts him back in prison for 5 years, does 5 years, gets out, does it all over again, does another 5 years. Now the judge, he wants me to do a polygraph and find out why this guy is failing to register. So I went to federal prison, conducted a polygraph on this individual. The guy passed my polygraph. He told me the truth. I did my report. I submitted it to the judge. I don't know what the sentence was. I'm sure it was probably close to 20 years that the judge ended up sentencing this guy.
He was a repeat offender. Yeah.
He was a repeat offender. And what he told me the truth about was, he said, Tim, if they let me out, I am going to molest children.
Yeah.
Please don't let me out.
What other applications would they use in this Nancy Guthrie case? Polygraph? Would they poly the pool guys, the landscapers, the people who did their roof? They would suggest it, but if those people said, F you, I don't want to take it, then they don't have to take it.
Right. Can't force them.
Right.
Great tool to polygraph everyone you mentioned.
Yeah.
They can ask them. The FBI can definitely do it for them. I would also venture to say in this case, there's probably two separate investigations going on, one by the FBI and one by the local department. And although FBI is working with the local department, the FBI has a habit of doing their own thing, and they're going to do their own thing. And however it comes out, it comes out. Whether or not they share their information with Pima County, that's a whole nother subject, you know.
For me, I just looked at it and said from day one that Nancy was removed from her home against her will. We need to find her.
I mean, come on.
Can you pause that?
Yeah.
The time to find motive is after you find the person that did it?
Yeah.
Is that the horse before the cart? Because normally if you can look at the background of people and establish, okay, who has the motive? Who has a motive to do this?
Right.
That helps you target possible suspects. Am I getting this wrong, or all my years of investigation backwards?
Tim, I wanted to talk to you. The family, according to the sheriff, was cleared, the Guthrie family. That includes aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, grandkids, granddaughters, nephews, and everybody, the whole family, in a matter of 2 days. He walks it back partially, but he doesn't say how he cleared the people. You are an expert as it pertains to polygraphs. They are voluntary. You ask somebody, hey, look, if you have nothing to do with this, this should be easy peasy, nice and simple. People get nervous and they're like, oh, I'm even though I'm innocent, I feel like a polygraph because I'm nervous, I'm high strung. Talk to the audience briefly about what a polygraph is and the tool and how investigators use it as a tool, Timmy.
Right. So polygraph this is a great case for a polygraph, right? First of all, how he's clearing the family is beyond me, because either they know who did it and they're just looking for him and they're telling everybody that they don't know who did it, or perhaps they've conducted polygraphs. But let's face it, right? Nancy Guthrie's missing. Family members want her back. They want to find her. If you had nothing to do with it, then why not submit to a polygraph? Polygraph's going to clear you. If you look at it, and if I'm the investigator in a case and I'm like, hey, Ron, so-and-so's missing. Hey, you want to take a polygraph? If you said no to me, now I'm kind of looking at you sideways.
Yeah.
So it's going to bring attention. You're also going to have people who are going to say, well, let me talk to my attorney about that. I'm also going to look at you sideways. But it's a great tool. It's used all the time.
Right.
And it's a tool. It's a tool that's part of your arsenal that investigators have, where you can clear suspects, you can clear these family members, and clearly say, hey, they had nothing to do with this.
You start from the family and you work your way out into the branches of neighbors, close friends, workers that have been hired to work on the property, people who do the general maintenance of a humongous estate like that. So it's a huge undertaking of investigative boots on the ground, going and knocking on people's doors, going and interviewing people. And then when you get raised up, you take it to that next level. Oh, this guy or this girl didn't sound right in this interview, even though it was just an informal interview. Hey, where were you on the night of, that type of thing. You're not having the big lights over you. But at the end of the day, the polygraph, like you said, is a great tool in a case like this, because you could rip through 4 or 5 people if you have multiple polygraph examiners a day.
So, what you got to keep in mind, right? You cannot work for the federal government as an FBI agent, Secret Service, CIA, DIA, Customs and Border Protection. Every one of those jobs require you take and pass a pre-employment polygraph test. So they're actually the biggest user of polygraph probably in the world, because
Right.
they use it for hiring. So every one of those agencies have a staff of polygraph examiners, and they cross agency assist each other. They all attend the same school, the government school. Some of the questions that would be asked on a polygraph, right? Like in this case specifically, were you present when Nancy was taken? Do you know where she is right now?
Right.
Did you participate in any way in Nancy becoming missing? Those are all questions that a polygraph examiner would ask somebody.
The son-in-law is the last person allegedly be with Nancy Guthrie. He supposedly drove her from their home, from point A to the house. And this would be somebody that would be the first primary person that you would polygraph, correct or not?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The last person to see her would be at the top of the list. Absolutely.
So this Tommaso guy is numero uno when it comes to a polygraph. And that would be someone that the detectives would home in on right away.
What would I ask him, right? I would ask him, did you drop her off at the house? Was the last time you saw her on such and such a date? Again, did you have anything to do with her being missing? Do you know where she is right now? Do you know, or did you participate in any way in this event? Those are all questions he would definitely be asked.